Joining me now from Tampa, Florida is Yu Zhang with the University of South Florida. She's an associate professor of civil and environmental engineering. Is that the case? Do you think it just got to, I mean, I know every time I go to China, I see these bikes everywhere. There's lots and lots of bikes, but there's lots and lots of people in China. Do you think it is one of these cases where it got to be too big, too fast?
Yes. I would say short answer is yes, and of course case by case and vary from one city to the other. And I think at the beginning, because there's no regulation, so the market is just open to whoever wants to enter into that. And I think it's kind of vicious competition just by increasing the fleet without taking care of the operations and also other parts of the bike sharing needs. So I think now it has demonstrated that some bike sharing company has been wiped out, and lots of things going on, like you have heard that Mobike was bought by the Meituan, and also in China, Alibaba actually launched their own bicycle, although they are kind of endorsed the OFO. And we also see that the Haro Bike, another bike sharing company, instead of competing with those giants in the tier 1 cities, they actually went to the tier 2 or the 3rd tier cities, and now they have a pretty good market share. So I think one city cannot accommodate many competitors. And we know the bike sharing is very much kind of rely on the scale. We want to obtain the economies of scale so that can improve the level of service to the public.
What about effectiveness of regulations? What type of regulations should be in place, do you think?
There are different aspects. We could regulate how many competitors could serve the same city, and also given the demand, given the understanding of the market, we probably want to restrict the number of bicycles that should be put on the street. And also the regulations could talking about the parking, what is the legal parking, what is illegal parking, and also talking about how to operate, what kind of level of service they should provide, and how to measure the level of service, who should enforce that and oversees that. And also if the bike sharing company wants to retreat from the market, then what is the process of dispose the bicycles that they already have? Yeah, so there are many aspects.
Yeah, that's a big question. I don't think a lot of people would think about that. In Frances's story, she talked about California, how this is starting to catch on there. We see it here in Washington, D.C., so obviously the United States also getting into the mix here, other nations as well. Are there things that they can learn about what China's done so that they can avoid some of the similar problems?
Oh, definitely. I think the cities in the U.S. has already done a good job. For example, the Seattle, they already have, the market entering permission, and they also look into how many companies they would allow to get into the market and how to enforce those regulations. And also, San Francisco, we have seen kind of competition between different bike sharing companies. Both on the electric assisted bike sharing and also the regular bike sharing. So I think the US are taking a slow step to make sure things are done correctly.
Interesting. Zhang, thanks so much for joining us tonight from Tampa. Really appreciate it.